We live in Northern Ontario, Canada. Today is January 31st, 2019. We're going off-grid for the month of February, the coldest month of the year.
It is.
Why? We want to find out just what we need and what we're going to miss once we eliminate the grid from our lives. We've done this in the summertime. Summertime is relatively easy. It's kind of tough when you want a nice cold beer or glass of water, something like that. But wintertime, it's a little bit different situation. It's minus 30 right now. So, here we go.
Tonight, at midnight, we are going off-grid. We are going to flip the switch.
And that's it. So, we'll just go through a bunch of the stuff that we got ready to make sure that we're all set when we wake up tomorrow morning. There's going to be no light switches that turn on and off. There's going to be no simple fridge that you walk up to. Coffee. We got to figure out the coffee situation. Maybe we have it figured out. We'll have to find out. So let's just run through the various things that we kind of prepared ourselves for this month off-grid.
First things first, we need to turn our freezer into a fridge, and we're going to turn the outside into the freezer. So we're going to take all the stuff out of the freezer, put it in these coolers. This one was kindly donated by a friend, a nice big one. And it's going to be cold. There's a little bit more in this freezer. Can't forget the ice cream. There we go. I'm gonna organize this mess as best as I can into these baskets I have here. And it'll be a good time to also get rid of some of the junk that's in this fridge. For instance, this, which is an old moose bone that Caddis has been enjoying for a few weeks but has forgotten about. And that's all the food in the fridge.
So we've got these 5-gallon buckets that we have been freezing outside. The bottoms are nicely bulged out. Something that we have noticed now though, we weren't able to empty out the freezer until now. We're only going to be able to fit probably one of these in here with all of our food. So this could be interesting. We're going to see how this works. We'll be keeping a thermometer in here to monitor the temperature. There are a number of things in here that don't necessarily need to be refrigerated. It's just kind of a North American thing. Mustard, for example, 99% vinegar, doesn't really need to be in there. The bitters, that doesn't need to be in there. Liquid smoke, maple syrup does not need to be in there. There's a number of things in here that don't need to be in here, so if we are having a problem and we need to fit more ice and less food, there are things that we can clear out.
Luckily, we have an artisanal well that's very, very close to here, so we have access year-round to fresh spring water. I have this food-grade bucket that has a tap in it that will allow us to easily access water for drinking and for cooking with.
We have various sources of light planned. One of the main ones, just for ambient lighting, we're going to be using oil lamps. Probably doesn't seem like much, but it does actually nicely light the room. We also have a few different LED lights and other solar lights that will bust out in some of the future videos, so people get an idea of alternative ways to light aside from just using oil lamps. As far as energy sources go, so that we're able to keep ourselves entertained, because we watch a lot of YouTube, like a lot of YouTube, we have a solar setup. Last weekend we spent a few hours kind of digging out the whole setup.
And some surprises from Caddis.
Yes, and some surprises in the snowbank.
Yeah.
I made the mistake of plowing.
Was that?
I don't know. I made the mistake of plowing all of our snow up around the house here, right in front of the solar panels, which, because we use them just kind of as a backup thing and really only currently for running the fans, the air exchange between the crawl space and upstairs, I wasn't too worried about how much solar we were going to be able to generate. But because of this little experiment that we decided to try, we figured we better get it all cleaned off, and so that we can
work as efficiently as possible.
Yeah. She said fission. Did anyone hear that? She said fission. Our solar system is very basic. This is not the type of system that you would want to run your entire household off of. As I mentioned, we use this mainly as a backup system. So this is our charge controller. We're running two 165 amp hour deep cycle marine RV batteries. In the future, we will be upgrading these batteries so that we can run more efficiently and we can actually have a proper solar setup here. For now, this is all we need. We've been running this system for, I don't even know, on and off for about 4 years, 3 years, 3 to 4 years.
I would agree.
Yeah. And it's done perfectly fine for us. So this is a really simple setup that if folks want to get into solar and just have a nice introduction to it, this is a really simple setup for that. Future video we'll go over more about what our particular setup is.
We had to clear all the snow out in front of our solar system so we can get more of the solar rays hitting it, which reminds us of how valuable a snow brush is for your car, because it's not only useful for the car, it's also useful for cleaning off your solars.
As far as hot water goes, We've mentioned before that all of our hot water will be heating just on the wood stove in very large canning, pressure canning pots, things like that. Outside of that, the camping shower that we have, we'll be able to hang in our window, and this actually a few years ago is the main source of our hot water for showers that we used when we were living off grid. It was the summertime. We were heating the shower bag outside. Obviously, if you were going to be in a permanent off-grid situation, you would want an entirely different setup for your showering than this. This works short term. It's actually really not too bad. The water gets extremely hot. In order to carry on with our live shows every Friday night, we'll be running a generator. We have a 5,000 watt generator that we can run, and I'm hoping to really only use this for the live shows, just so that we're not, it's dark when the shows are on, and I'd rather not be drawing down our solar with the demand that we'd be putting on it for doing that. I'd rather have the solar focused on some of our lighting and things like that at nighttime.
Well, I guess that's about it. I think we're ready, but of course as we go along we'll probably find out small things that we forgot. But I'm really excited about it. Yeah, this should be a fun experiment, and I really hope we learn some things along the way.
Alright guys, it is time to flip the switch. See ya. Here we go.